Hi guys, this is Carrie from Tambella Arts, and today we're going to do the letter P. And P is for paper. Well, I thought that would have been pretty obvious, but so this is from my A to Z of Colourful Quilling, my book, and today we'll just be doing the outline of the P. Within the book itself you also receive the quilling template, which basically guides you to fill it with colour like this. But for today's purposes we'll be using our tracing template. So to start making, our first step is basically to grab some parchment paper and a lead pencil, and you'll be basically tracing over the design there. I'm also going to use a ruler today just for my straight lines. Okay, so now that we have our trace, you want to grab some cardstock. I'm using American Crafts cardstock, which is textured on one side and smooth on the other. I want my textured side to be facing up in my work, so I place textured side down, and then I'm going to place my letter trace as close to the edge of my cardstock as possible, just so that I'm not wasting any cardstock, and then we're going to trace back over that outline. Okay, that should have pushed our trace onto our cardstock. Our next step is to cut our letter out. I'm going to use my scalpel and cutting mat today for that task, and I'm going to use a ruler for all my straight lines as well. Okay, so that gives us the outline of our letter. And then our next step is to actually create the outer outline of our letter, and I'm going to use white cardstock, the same stock as what I've used for my background. So I'm going to grab some strips that have been cut from the same stock, these ones here, and I've got my glue ready as well. And what we'll be doing now is basically measuring our strips against the inner angle. And for the inner part of the P, I'm just going to start to shape that curved U type shape like so. And then what we're going to do is just line it up against our cutout and get it as close as we physically can. It's looking relatively close, a little bit more. Go. Going to cut that about there. Okay, and at this point we take our shape and we dip it in our glue. And you'll also want to dip the ends where they're going to meet each other. Okay, and now we're going to position our cut strip onto our cutout of the letter P, like that. And you're just wanting those two sections there to kiss and meet and adhere together. And go. I might add just a touch of glue using an offcut strip here, and I'm just literally painting a little bit of glue down between those two there so that there's more glue for it to adhere to each other, just like that. Okay, let's continue on. So what I'd like to do now is actually do the backbone and the bottom part. So lining your strip up, just again nicking the back, scoring it so that it will fold easily. Measuring against that length. So I'm going to cut here and glue this one into place. And then we're going to take this strip that we've already cut, and I'm going to stick that one down now as well. Lovely. Okay, now we'll make our outer part as well. So we're looking for where the strip starts to bend, and it'll be just around this section here. And tighten that up. I'll lose a bit of length here so that we can manage our strip a bit better. And once again, we're just looking to shape this as close as we possibly can to our letter. And then cutting to length. I'm going to glue him straight in now. A little bit of glue on the end. And we can see here that I've actually made it a little bit short. I haven't got that curve as wide as what it was as my original cutout, which is completely fine. We can come back later and actually fix that up. Alright, there's our letter P. I'll just let that dry for a few minutes and then we're going to continue on to our next step. Okay, so we've let our letter P dry just for a moment, and now I can see that I've got a little bit of overhang and a little bit that I'd like to trim off the edge there. So using your scissors, just very carefully nip away any excess pieces. And if you wanted to, you could also go around and bring that edge closer into your letter P. You can see there that's a little bit tricky for me to get super close, just because of the angle and how big my scissors are. That's looking pretty good. Alright, so that's how we create our letter P. Hang around for my next video to see how we fill it with colour. Thanks so much for watching, guys.